Hello, my friends and family members. This is your friend and family member, Job Titus Canna. Today, I am continuing my series of 15 nuggets of inspiration for fathers and father figures. Today, we are going to deal with nugget number 7. A good father knows how to discipline. Now, when it comes to discipline, this subject may be one of the most controversial and talked about factors of parenting. There are several forms of discipline that a parent can use based upon the child because we know that every child is not the same. As a Christian, I believe that the father should be the main disciplinarian person in the family. Now, I do not believe he should be the only person doing the discipline, but the main one, according to Proverbs 23 and 14. Now, with the lack of fathers in today's family structure, the role of the disciplinary person has changed considerably. Many single mothers are left with the task of discipline. With the many methods that a father can use for discipline, I still believe that the father can and should be, if possible, the most effective go to person as far as discipline is concerned. And I can remember many of my friends' parents saying, You're going to get it when your father comes home. And being the youngest out of 6 boys, as well as coming from an old school discipline, I can remember my parents using several forms of discipline, most notably spankings on us. Some of these things they did back then may not be viewed as acceptable in today's culture, but I'm a witness it worked. I can remember the following types of discipline that I had to endure growing up. Number one, the behind whipping or spanking. Now, this type of discipline was used with the belt, switch, spoon, or any objects that was near to whip your behind for doing or saying something that was inappropriate in a major way. My parents, as well as other parents in the community, used this form of punishment or discipline, and they felt that it was necessary for the children to feel the consequences of their bad choices or actions. Now, I can remember, my mom and dad spanking and talking to me, and at the same time, didn't I tell you not to do, different stuff like that. And as they were spanking me, and my brothers and I, so many times before the spanking occurred, they often said, This will hurt me more than it hurt you. For many years, I couldn't understand why they would say that, especially when they was the person administering the pain. But as I grew older and became a parent, I could appreciate that saying because the spanking made me think about my negative behavior, kept me out of jail, helped me to respect authority, and made me think about the consequences of my behavior. Even though my dad didn't spank as much as my mother did, his discipline was highly effective to me as a male. Number two form of discipline that we endured was the lecture. This type of discipline was a stern talk from your parents that would make you feel extremely bad about your negative behavior. Your parents just knew what to say. They just knew what to say, what was going on during that time. They knew just what to say to make you feel miserable about your mistakes. Now I can remember my dad and mom talking. You know you're lying, and you know you're lying, saying stuff like that. They went on to say this classic line: "If you lie, you'll steal. If you steal, you kill." And I'm thinking to myself, I told a white lie, and now I'm about to kill someone. Someone with the lecture. I just hope that sometimes they would just spank me instead of just lecturing me. And number three was the eye. That type of discipline was that stern look from your parents that led to the following consequences. You're going to get a spanking if you don't stop doing with your negative behavior, if you don't stop doing that. Or number two, you were going to get a spanking for what they saw you do or didn't think that they saw you do. Or number three, I see what you're doing. That is negative, and I might spank you here and now. That what that look meant. And number four was the pluck. Now, this type of discipline was like a light spanking from my dad. My dad was plucking my brothers upside our head with his fingers. Now, this was something that only my dad did with us. This was mostly came when we was in church and we was talking, clowning around, either in church or in service was going on, and the preacher was preaching. So normally Dad would either sit all six of us in the front pew, and he and my mom would sit right behind us. So if we was talking and disrupting church service, he would get up and pluck us on the top of the head and come back and sit down, nonchalantly. Now he was cool with it. Many of other parents adopted this technique as well. This was it was only embarrassing to us, but it also meant that a spanking probably could come later. Now, these old school disciplinary techniques that my parents use on us may or not work in today's children, but a father still needs to know that their children habits, behavior, and know what is effective in the discipline process. It should be noted to all fathers that the children are not the mother's responsibility alone, but also share the responsibility with you. Your child needs you. If you don't involve yourself in the discipline process, then your child's going to go astray, go wild. As an educator of over 30 years, I see it teach many of these kids that do not have fathers in their lives. Many, not all, of these children are causing havoc in our school systems. They need their father, and you really need to be there for them. God bless you.